We all had a lovey, a blankie, a stuffed animal, or a plushie that was your favorite one. It was the one you slept with. You made sure that it was just always with you through all times of your life. It got packed whenever you moved. If you went away to college, it went with you. And at some point, it's not the comfort that it was to you when you were younger, but you've made sure not to lose it. So my comfort plushie as a child, when I was about 9, is named Peter, and he's a nylon rabbit. And I'll show him to you in a second. But my mom and I got him from Farmore. Now, Farmore has been out of Florida for a very long time, but my parents shopped at Farmore, and it was about 30 minutes from us. It was a schlep, and I did not like going there because it was such a drive. And my mom and I had gone for whatever reason, and they had like a clearance cage at the front of the store, and in it were these Easter nylon bunnies, a boy and a girl, and they were on clearance, so I guess this was sometime after Easter. And I never asked for anything when we went shopping because I knew the answer would be no. My parents couldn't afford it. So, when I began getting an allowance, I knew to save up for things that I would want. But at this point, I didn't have a hefty allowance, and I probably didn't bring it with me. And so I tried my luck with my mom, and I said, "Can I get one?" Meaning one of those bunnies. And my mom looked at the price, and it must have been under $5 for her to say, "Sure." Which one, the boy or the girl? And I went with the boy. I then attached more things to him of the same nylon material because I wasn't allowed to sleep with more than one stuffed animal. And I found a way around the system because these other little plushies had loops on their heads. So I looped them onto his ears. So on one ear is a nylon plushie octopus that my dad won from a game at Busch Gardens. So we're talking mid-90s. And her name, so the plushie in question, this bunny, is named Peter. This octopus that I attached to her is Miss Octopus, because my dad made up stories as a kid to tell me before bed, and one involved a character, Miss Octopus. But he did not tell it a lot. But at the time when we got this plushie, he must have been telling me that story often enough to make an impression to name her Miss Octopus. But even before he passed, we both could not remember what that story was. But at that time, it meant something, and the name stuck. And then on his other ear are mini bunnies and ducks from craft stores. And the first one that joined the family is Pinky from Joann Fabrics. And then at a very random no-name craft store, but it was huge, like a Michael's, but it was just called Crafts, I got another bunny and 2 ducks, and only one duck got a name, Quackers. The other bunny and other duck didn't get a name. I have no idea why, but I guess they just didn't make an impression other than collecting them to put on the ear. So I will now present to you Peter. I'm going to lay him flat. As you can see, they have been through the ringer, and they have been well loved. They have been repaired and sewn and stained and deflated and misshapen. This nose used to be pink, I think. So yeah, he has been well loved. He is a Gibson nylon plushie rabbit. So yes, he was my plushie buddy for years, and then he was not. I didn't sleep with a stuffed animal come a certain part of my life, but he's always been there. When I would go on vacation as a kid, he came along. He was just there, and every move, every milestone made sure he was packed and ready to go. Now, fast forward to 2 years ago when we moved and my anxiety was getting really bad. My panic attacks were really setting in. And we unpacked him from our move, and my kids were like, "Oh, tell us the story about him." So I relayed pretty much what I've relayed here. And on our coffee table are plushies that my kids play with, and they go in rotation every week. and they bring out new plushies. They have their favorites. And so he and my husband's plushie as a kid lived on the coffee table. Now, one particular night, my husband wasn't home for dinner, but I had a very bad panic attack. And I don't like my family seeing those things happen. And I went into another room to work through it and experience it, unfortunately. And I'm trying not to get emotional. So I left my mom and my son and my daughter at the dining table, and they ate dinner, or attempted to eat dinner, while I went to the other room to have my panic attack. And my son and daughter came in holding Peter. They said, "We thought he might make you feel better." So they gave him to me and left. Needless to say, I squeezed the ever-loving crapola out of him while I had my panic attack. So it was around this time that it was unusual for me to have panic attacks and whatnot during the day. Like, I had my anxiety during the day to manage, but full-on hyperventilating panic attacks, things like that, were not happening, but they only happened at night. So then my husband was like, "Here's Peter. Maybe he can help you." Not that nobody would help me through my panic attacks, but I do sometimes want to be alone. But just maybe this comfort, not that it would prevent a panic attack, but maybe it will lessen the duration or just help you through it. So then every night, saying goodnight, my husband would get Peter off the coffee table and give him to me. And he became, once again, at the age of, I guess that was 37, he became my comfort sleeping plushie once again. And one night, his ear ripped off, like he got jammed, and when I shifted, his ear ripped off. So I knew he was too fragile to be my snuggle buddy anymore. I ordered nylon fabric and special thread. My husband sewed him back up. You can see his handiwork there, and like his face ripped in that too. So I broke it to the family that Peter and the crew have been retired from being an active snuggle buddy. But I kind of wanted a Peter again, and I know nobody could replace Peter, but I went on Macari because I knew he was a Gibson nylon bunny, so I typed in, Gibson Easter bunny, and a lot came up, and I found Peter, and I found a couple of Peters, and I found a listing that had Peter and the girl bunny, the one that I did not choose. And I had some spending money saved up, so I bought them. And they arrived, and they were still in like the cellophane packaging, and it still had the Far More price sticker on it. What are the odds that they came from a Far More? Because I'm sure other stores got it as well. But I want to introduce you to Peterson and Petra. Now, this is what Peter looked like when I first got him in like 1993 or 1994, when he was fresh and not smothered to smithereens with love. Here is Peter with how he began. Plump and vibrant in color, but this was Peter as I first got him. And it is just wild to have found him again with the Far More price sticker. And here is his gal, Petra, the one I chose not to get back in the day, but she came along for the ride. A little side-by-side action. But so Peterson here, it doesn't replace Peter, but I think he'll do as I begin this next stage of life, of journey, when I'm 39, getting a new plushy snuggle buddy. I think it's just kind of cool. Call me nerdy, and maybe call me silly for having a snuggle buddy at night, but if it works, it works.